Okay, everyone, away we go. This is episode 1092 of Blind Magic in Alice Springs, and I am your presenter and host, Murray Stewart. You know, when you are in the middle of any battle, particularly one of a health nature, there are peaks and troughs. Yes, there are peaks and troughs. I was certainly in a trough about a week ago now, when I collapsed at work. My body then went into a seizure crisis. And not only did that seizure crisis result in a lot of involuntary violent movement, which endangered my very life, but I also had a circumstance whereby my body went completely rigid and there was then blood coming out of my mouth. Yeah, it was sort of like a scene out of one of those horror movies. Yeah, terrible. Horrible. Would have been horrible for any of the witnesses, of which there were a couple. One, of course, was my very trusty senior support worker, Heather, who was the first responder. And, of course, the client who I was treating at the time that I collapsed. I've been feeling as if I've been on the edge of another seizure since. So I have decided to take matters into my own hands. You know, when something goes wrong with the plumbing in your house, best to call a plumber. When something goes wrong with the structures in your own home, probably best to call a carpenter. Yeah, that's right. People who are qualified to do their job. And I mostly go down this road when it comes to medical crisis. Yeah, when you are in a medical crisis, generally it's best to call a doctor. I accept that. But I also am a very, very big believer in sovereignty over our own bodies. That's right, sovereignty. And I know my body well enough to know what I need to do before at least I see my neurologist, which will be on October 2nd. So I have decided to increase ever so slightly my seizure medication, my anti-seizure medication known as Tegretol. Yeah, I've taken it up by an extra 100 milligrams, and I've done that in order to stabilize this horrible feeling that I'm about to descend into another seizure crisis. Because these seizures are very, very dangerous, life-threatening, in fact. And I intend, in fact, I want to be around for quite a while yet. I wonder if you're in that situation. I wonder if throughout your journey, throughout your battle, you have built up a lot of knowledge about your body and how it works. So therefore, I wonder if you are in a position to exercise some sovereignty over your care. Well, my strong suggestion is that you do this in close consultation with family and friends, and of course, with the medical people around you that you trust. But sometimes your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom is very, very important in managing your circumstance. So I do believe that any good doctor should respect that. And when I speak to my specialist, my neurologist, on October 2nd, I'm sure she will respect the wisdom and the experience that I've built up about my body and its tolerance to the medication I'm taking, and the need, therefore, to adjust my medication without her knowledge or consent, because she is a visiting neurologist. Here we are in the middle of Australia, so we get a lot of these visiting specialists that come here every 3 months. I certainly couldn't afford to wait for 3 months to intervene in my own health circumstance. No, I couldn't. I had to act, and so I have. And what I'm hoping is now is that I can get my signs and symptoms to stabilise until I do see the neurologist, and then perhaps we can agree that my adjustment was absolutely needed, absolutely appropriate, and maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, maybe the dose that I've increased it to, which is only by 100 milligrams, not much, but if that results in a period of stability, then whoa, that will bring great relief to me, I can tell you. And what I can tell you is thus far, my intervention certainly has blunted some of the signs and symptoms that were lurking and that were making me feel very unwell and very unsafe. Yeah, so for now, there's peace at headquarters here in Alice Springs, and my body is feeling much more at rest, and therefore I am feeling far more positive about where this could head. But as I said, and I reiterate 1,000 times over, if you are going to step in and exercise that body sovereignty, a right that everyone has, it's best, when and if possible, to do that in consultation with the medical experts that you trust. All right, folks, that's it. This has been, and always will be, episode 1092. And it's been a Blind Magic Communications production.